small or non-sprited images.
From which perspective, I guess? From a network perspective, that's obvious, right? The number of requests. But from a paint-to-paint point of view?
Yep.
It should be. Go on. You
There-
look like you're poised to answer your own question.
No, you answered this.
Oh.
I'm going to ask a
You
follow-up.
can't. No, you go for it.
go.
No. Don't let me go in your way. No, okay. I think my hunch is, and it is only a hunch, is it would be the sprite would be better because of something from a memory point of view. You wouldn't have the overhead of individual images with their attached decoded versions. You would have one image with one decoded version, but the actual number of bytes for red, green, blue, alpha would be the same.
And so the follow-up there is, if I'm using a sprite, like single sprite image, using it in 5 locations, my memory consumption for that is going to be just once, even though it is displayed 5 times.
So from an implementation point of view, we carry an image cache which has the encoded version inside the cache, and then the most recently used decoded version, decoded and resized. So something like a sprite is probably not going to get resized. So in that situation, yeah, you would expect to see that you are paying that cost for that single image, and it's just being reused around the place. That would be my guess.
Okay. How is, when you showed before the composited layers and kind of the order of those, how is that managed? And is that is there any relation between what we saw there and z-index?
So again, this is actually a question that I asked, and it turns out there are 2 kinds of layers. There are layers at the WebKit and Blink level, which is where stacking contexts and all those kinds of things come in, which is where z-index or z-index is going to change and create those kind of conceptual stacking contexts. But that doesn't necessarily correlate to the number of compositor layers. So when we've got this sort of tree of all the things that need to get painted, that gets often sent over to the compositor for the compositor to go, well, actually, how many layers do I need to paint now to satisfy this? So I believe there can be a correlation, but it's not necessarily an obvious one. There are a lot of edge cases, and it is a complex beast. Sadly, it's not like, yeah, do this, it's all fine.
One question that comes up a lot, so the use of promoting a layer, so applying, for instance, translate Z onto a layer, onto an element to